So gather round, friends. We need an inner circle debrief for the first half of Frost and Starlight, chapters 1 through 14.
Chapter 1, Feyre. It's beginning to look a lot like winter's solstice. After several months of getting back to normal after the war, we spend the first chapter getting a quick recap. Feyre is still haunted by almost losing her mate, so she's burying herself in work. Healthy. Rhys has been going to visit their allies to make sure all is good and no one's being an idiot. Clearly, he's not thinking about Tamlin. Cassian is doing regular checkups with the Illyrians. Nesta's living in her own apartment in the only slum of Valaris. And Elaine is planting flowers. Still not potatoes, though. TLDR, our crew is very busy. Sounds like they need a holiday. Chapter 2. In the mountains of Illyria, Rhys and Cassian are fighting with Devlin, the camp leader. Because according to Devlin, it's 1950, and the females belong in the kitchen prepping for the holiday, not the training ring. But luckily, they work out a deal. 90 minutes of training, and then they can all holiday prep. Rhys and Cassian leave for the High Lord cabin, and all Rhys can do is think about bang, bang, bangity banging his mate on every surface, even recalling their most recent flying escapade in the sky. It's a bird! It's a plane! Oh God! No, it's not! We learned that there's my eyes!
Although honestly, I'd be like, ooh.
Lexi!
I guess I've been reading too much Bonded by Thor.
I was gonna say, goodness, madam. We learn that there's tension brewing among the Illyrian clans because the warriors who have been bred for battle are pissed off that they went to battle. Chapter 3, Cassian goes on a solo flight past Ramiel, and we get the not at all setting up for Silver Flames rundown of how the blood rite works. He continues to pass through the old village where his mother lived years ago, a village that is now destroyed thanks to him and his brothers, and he takes a pit stop next to an unmarked area where he mourns his mother. Chapter 4, somewhere over the Valaris rainbow, Feyre meets a Fey woman who she remembers from the Hybern attack last spring. Welcome to the chat, Ricinia. Ricinia shows Feyre a boarded up studio of one of the dead artists. Wanna buy it, Feyre? Ricinia, artist and Valaris realtor. She tells Feyre that she hosts painting parties, the Valaris paint and sip, if you will, and invites Feyre to come and arty party with them. Feyre deflects, unsure if she's ready to paint around people yet. Feyre continues her jaunt through Valaris, where Moore comes to join, telling her that they're going to take a trip to the Hewn City for their annual office party. I think Angela Martin plans happier parties. But that's not the only reason they're going to spread holiday cheer. Moore has heard from super spy Asriel that Eris will be there. Why? They don't know. Dun dun dun. Chapter 5, Feyre. Rhys returns home from Windhaven and is happy to see his mate for more than 5 seconds. They wonder if Nesta will be joining them for the winter solstice celebration, to which Rhys admits, unsurprisingly, that the eldest Archeron sister, not his favorite. Conversation turns more feral, and just as Feyre wraps her hand around Rhys's more bangs on the door, telling Rhys that he better start primping. So needing to calm down, Rhys takes an ice cold bath. Chapter 6, more. At the Hewn City, we immediately see that Eris's visit seems harmless, and instead he's just here to wish them a happy solstice. I guess he's not a fan of holiday cards. Moore's thoughts drift to that day where she was nailed in the abdomen and dumped on the Autumn Court doorstep, where Eris was telling his men not to touch her, because apparently it's like calling shotgun, and if they do, she's their responsibility. Seems like there's more to the story. But back to the meeting at the Court of Nightmares. We learn that Baron, the High Lord of Autumn, has been a douche canoe and is looking to expand his territory. Where? South to the Spring Court and to the Human Lands. But oh no, don't worry. I'm sure the South Territory won't let that happen. Oh wait, it's Tamlin. Looks like Rhys has to pay him a visit. Chapter 7, Rhys. Spymaster Asriel brings Rhys a list of the Illyrian clans where shit seems to be stirring up. A lot of clans. A lot of clans. I'm sure that will have some kind of consequence in a future book, right? Right? The two Bat Boys decide not to tell their third brother, though, instead letting him enjoy the holiday before they might need to protect against a civil war. They discuss Lucian and his whereabouts for the holiday, but don't worry, Asriel has most definitely not been spying on him. Nope, not at all. Chapter 8, Cassian. Back in Illyria, Cassian visits a clothing shop where he meets the owner, the daughter of Proteus, who is a recently deceased asshole. Cassian purchases every drop of clothing and tells the new shop owner, Emery, to deliver these clothes to the people who will need it most in the oncoming storm. Cassian, stop being perfect. Chapter 9, Feyre. Nervously heading to the rainbow with every intent to go to Ricinia's paint and sip party, Feyre cannot seem to get herself across the threshold. So instead, she winnows to the abandoned boarded up gallery and paints there. Chapter 10, Feyre. She paints and paints and paints. What does she paint? The beastly version of herself that she saw in the Ouroboros mirror. Chapter 11, Rhys notices that it looks like the angry man-bear pig has been using his manor as a scratching post. The haggard Tamlin takes Rhys to the only clean-ish room in the Springcourt Manor, and Rhys has it out on Tamlin. Tamlin. Rhys tells him that he's deserved everything that has befallen onto him. Damn, Rhys, tell us how you really feel. But Tamlin doesn't fight back. Instead, he hangs his head, utterly broken. Rhys winnows to his mate and tells her everything. But oh no, he still needs to shop for a gift for her. So he goes shopping, not finding anything for Feyre, but instead finding not one, not two, but 3 jewel necklaces for Amren, because that really needed to be included in this. Chapter 12, Feyre, time to decorate. Cassian and Feyre get shit-stick drunk together and attempt to decorate the townhouse, but Asriel joined and has to correct their terrible designs. Sadly, it turns out that Nesta told Elaine that she will not be coming to Winter Solstice and does not want to see them at all. Yikes. So Feyre goes out into the city to have a chat with her sister. Chapter 13, Feyre, in a seedy bar, Feyre finds Nesta playing cards, drinking, and deciding who her one-night stand is going to be. Feyre tries to get her to agree to come to Winter Solstice using every guilt trip in the book, including father would want you to come. Damn it, Feyre, go for the throat, why don't ya? But she does find one tactic that will work. Money for rent. Hit me in the millennial, why don't ya, SJM? Chapter 14. Rhys tells his third Moor that in the coming month, he has a mission for her. What's the sitch, Rhys? There's an issue with treaty negotiations on the continent, and he will need her to go, but not until after the holiday.
Let's start this episode with Nicole's recap of what happens in chapters 15 through 28 of Frost and Starlight. So gather round, friends. We need an inner circle debrief.
Chapter 15, Feyre. Needing to finish their winter solstice shopping, Elaine and Feyre hit the shops. Let's go to the mall, everybody! They go to the weaver's shop and meet the weaver herself. No, not Striga, who just died in the war, like an actual weaver. I know, it's confusing. Feyre learns that the weaver, not Striga's husband, died in the war, and despite being heartbroken, she continues to create because it's the only thing that keeps her going. This inspires Feyre, feeling so grateful for her husband's aliveness, to go to her new secret spot and paint. But whoops! Ricinia finds Feyre in the boarded up studio and continues being Valaris' #1 realtor and tells Feyre that she should buy this property. Feyre frantically leaves and runs into her mate. Literally. She asks Rhys about the possibility of others also wanting art therapy, and thus a new career path is born. Later, Feyre goes to Amren's apartment, and she's doing what many tiny ancient ones do, a jigsaw puzzle. Me too, Amren, me too. Feyre, living up to her Snoop title, asks Amren what does she know about Nesta, but Amren shuts that shit down. She is not going to gossip. Chapter 16, Rhys. Showing Cassian and Asriel their new room for Solstice, Cassian remarks on how they are now at the bottom of the totem pole. Spoiler alert, this room has 2 tiny short twin bed, so I think Cassian is onto something. The crew talks about the Illyrian camp's unrest, and Rhys and Asriel notably leave out information for Cassian. Later, during the Solstice Eve celebration, Rhys likes Feyre's butt and he cannot lie, causing Amren to go, oh my god, get your mind out of the gutter. Chapter 17, Feyre. Happy birthday, Feyre! Rhys gives her not 1, not 2, but 3 presents in bed, one of which is a sketchbook. Paint him like one of your French girls, Feyre, darling. At breakfast, Rhys is kidnapped by Asriel and Cassian. Not at all bothered. Feyre does what I also do with a day off, and that is bury herself in work. But realizing that's not very festive, she goes to talk with Elaine. When there's a knock on the door, Nesta is here! Hooray! Oh, wait, it's Lucien. Dun, dun, dun. Chapter 18, Feyre. Lucien fills us in with what he's been up to, spending time with Jurian and Vassa in the human lands. Elaine, happily, leaves the room to go get some tea for the crew. But Lucien's already got the real tea, friends. Turns out that Tamlin dumped his stuff on his porch, and Lucien is not allowed back into the spring court. But he already found a new family with the Band of Exiles, the name of which Feyre mocks. Bad Feyre. Understandably angry, Lucien leaves. Feyre takes out her own anger on Elaine, who is notably relieved that her mate is gone. And Elaine admits the obvious, that she doesn't want Lucien or a mate, despite how hard Feyre tries to get Elaine to make an effort. Moore arrives and, seeing that her friend needs a laugh, takes Feyre to the cabin where, what's this? Let's get ready to rumble! There's 3 Illyrian warriors. They're having a yearly snowball showdown. Chapter 19, Feyre. Asriel wins this year, and the 3 Illyrian warriors go to take a steam, and Rhys, totally in character, invites Feyre in for sex. Feyre goes in and is ravaged by 3 Illyrian warriors all at once. Oh wait, this is not Nesta's POV. Rhys gets kicked out because he became a stiffy boy in the Birchen. Later on that night... Boing! Later on that night, the celebration commences, starting with Feyre's birthday cake, a recreation of the drawers that she painted back at their cottage. Everyone starts to open presents. There's holiday cheer and merriment. Mariah Carey is singing in the corner in whistle tone until there's a knock on the door. The third Archeron sister has arrived. Chapter 20, Feyre. After some coaxing, Nesta comes inside and the celebration continues. It's just much more tense now. Presents are exchanged, including Feyre giving Rhys a painting of their new pet, at least according to Cassian. It's actually her in the Ouroboros mirror. Hours go by and Nesta decides to leave. And true to their sisterly agreement, Feyre gives Nesta 3 months' rent. And after a moment where it looked like Nesta wouldn't take it, she does and she walks out. But storming after her is an over it Cassian. Chapter 21, Cassian. Enough is enough. Cassian tries to follow Nesta home and give her her solstice present, but she refuses and tells him to get out! The words from the end of the Hybern battle hanging over the two of them. They fight, get used to me saying this, and she leaves him in the cold. Angry with what's become of them, Cassian throws her present into the river. But angry or not, Cassian still follows her home, just in the shadows. Cut to our first Nesta POV. In her apartment, Nesta seals her many, many locks on her door and slumps to the ground, reflecting on the evening. But despite being paid to be there and hearing the logs snap, she feels nothing. Chapter 22, Feyre. Rhys winnows the two lovebirds to the famous Chapter 54 cabin, where Rhys reveals to her that the dresses he gifted Feyre are all made by his seamstress mother, designer mommy, if you will. Feyre admits that she wants Rhys to change her tattoos on her hands from 2 cat eyes to the Night Court insignia, a mountain with 3 stars. Honestly, valid. But Feyre has one more gift to dish out, sharing that she would like to start a family with her mate. And unprotected bang, bang, bangity bang. I said hard enough to make the pictures on the wall fall off. Bang! That just sounds dangerous, but gifts aren't done. Rhys gives her one more present, an old estate for them to build a home together. Brett, take notes. Chapter 23, Rhys. After being destroyed by the sex the night before, Rhys goes to visit Tamlin, who's just staring at a dead elk on the table. Mood. Rhys skins the animal for his old friend turned enemy and tells him to eat. Tamlin asks the question we've been discussing at length for 31 episodes. Why am I such an idiot? JK. Will she ever forgive me? And though
Same thing. Same thing.
Yep. And though we still don't get an answer, Rhys offers up an olive branch in the form of steak. Chapter 24, Mor. In her estate she's owned secretly for 300 years, Mor is off riding her horse Elia. Insert Epona's song here. While on her joyride, Mor notices a shadow in the corner of the woods. Not wanting to cross paths with the spooky boogeyman, Mor rides home. Chapter 25, Feyre. Feyre goes...
Have you watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Monty Python.
Just making sure.
Chapter 25, Feyre. Feyre goes to realtor Ricinia and tells her, you know that old boarded up studio you've been trying to get me to buy? The owners just gave it to me. Damn it. Ricinia was going to get commission on it. But hey, Ricinia, Feyre's got a job offer for you. Want to open up an art therapy studio for children? Feyre's in her entrepreneurial era. Chapter 26, Rhys. The Illyrian girls are training. Literally, that's it. That's the chapter. Chapter 27, Feyre. A month of blood, sweat, and tears later, the art therapy studio is open. And like any new business owner, Feyre is nervous that no one will show up on day 1. But in pour the children, ready to paint their feelings away. Chapter 28, Feyre. Rhys joins Feyre to walk her home for lunch on her first day of work. And he notices that she's covered in paint. That sounds familiar. But apparently it's nothing compared to Ricinia, who is coated from paint bubble boy. Feyre reflects on how much she loves her life, and she and Rhys fly home together. End of heartfelt novella. Bring it on, Silver Flames!